Chapter 16. That night the two crawled in bed. After turning off the bedside lamp, Aalliyah twisted her fingers under Nate's shirt and affectionately ran her hand along his chest. Softly he said, "Aalliyah, your soft touch is great, but not tonight, please. It was a long day at Cambridge, and I'd love to get to sleep right away." She removed her hand and folded her arms around him instead. Then she stated, "I'm here for you if you want to talk about it." "It wasn't a bad day. It was fantastic. I got a lot accomplished, but I didn't sleep the greatest last night for some reason." He fibbed and continued, "So I'm extra tired tonight." "Well, I hope you sleep better tonight, my love." She sat up and kissed his cheek. The following evening, Nate skipped dinner with his housemates and shared it with Lucy at the university. Aalliyah waited patiently for him to come home. Jeramie waited with her until he got too tired and turned in for the night. An hour later, as the clock struck 10 o'clock, Nate came in. His eyes were heavy and his features weary. Aalliyah followed him into their bedroom, and he tossed his clothing off and slipped into his comfortable pajamas. Then he faced his girlfriend and kissed her cheek quickly. He flopped onto the bed and considered going straight to sleep, but then Lucy's words from earlier echoed in his mind. "You can't go cold turkey on her, or you will snap her into 1,000 shards. You will hurt her no matter what, but you need to let her down gently, or she'll never trust anyone again. You need to keep showing her love and slowly back away. If you give her the cold shoulder, she is going to think she did something wrong. Go home, apologize for your behavior yesterday, and make it up to her." Nate sighed and then spoke. "My darling, I'm sorry about yesterday. I didn't mean to brush you off. I was really tired. I have a bit more energy tonight, though, if you would like to take some time for us." "Yes, but Jeramie is here and I wouldn't want to wake him." "I didn't mean all out, just our usual fooling around." "All right, let's go for it." Nate smiled and rolled over to face her and placed his hands on her through her shirt. His grip tightened and loosened over and over as if her skin was a stress ball in his grasp. Aalliyah was breathing easily and relaxed to his firm touch, which she had become used to over the years. He wound his fingers under the fabric and went down until he met Australia. Gently he ran his coarse fingers along the coast as Aalliyah melted into the pillows. Slowly Nate's hand felt heavier, and soon he stopped, too tired to carry on. He returned his hand and then folded his arms around Aalliyah as he closed his eyes. "Good night," he whispered. Come morning, Nate kissed his girlfriend on the cheek and scampered off to get to Cambridge. Aalliyah lied there barely awake as Nate's kiss had awoken her. She knew she wouldn't fall back asleep, but at least wanted to lie there for several more minutes. Then an unsettling feeling came over her. She covered her mouth and sprang from the bed. She ran from the bedroom into the living room and tossed the door of the bathroom open before throwing up. Jeramie, having seen her from the kitchen, walked over to the bathroom. He went over to where she kneeled and gathered her beautiful red hair in his hands. For a few minutes the two remained there. Finally, Aalliyah was able to speak and said, "Thank you." "You're welcome," he replied. "I want you to lie down on the couch so you'll be closer to the bathroom. Try to get as much rest as you can. You are extremely pale, but rest will help you fight off whatever you've caught." He held out his hand and helped her to her feet. She lied down on the couch, and Jeramie draped a dark ocean blue blanket over her. Then he returned to the kitchen. A moment later, he went into the living room again and pulled out a folding tray. He set a cup of tea made with ginger root down on the tray. He instructed, "Drink this tea. It'll help settle your stomach. Then hopefully you will be able to hold down food, and I'll make you toast." "Thank you. How long does it take for the tea to work?" "I'd say 15 minutes. It is literally magic." Slowly she sipped the warm liquid. It had been 20 minutes since she emptied the cup. Jeramie was about to head into the kitchen to make her toast, but she sprang from the couch and darted to the bathroom. He made his way over to her and once more held her hair. When she had nothing left to toss up, Jeramie sighed. The tea should have worked, but because it didn't, that means it could be something more going on. The two went back into the living room, and he inquired as she sat down on the couch once more, "Is it your stomach that's bothering you, or is there something else too?" "Just my stomach," she informed. He held his hand up. "May I?" She nodded. "Let me know if anything hurts." Lightly he pressed around her abdomen. Then he paused. "What is it?" More firmly he pressed his fingers into her. Then he informed with a smile, "You're carrying a child." "I am?" Jeramie nodded. "That's so exciting." "It sure is." She tossed her arms around him and hugged him tight. "I can't wait to tell Nate when he comes home this evening." "Congratulations to you, and beginning this new chapter." Aalliyah was ecstatic and believed Jeramie knew what he was talking about. However, she wanted to double-check to be on the safe side. A quick test confirmed her roommate's words. The next thing she did was dial her biological parents, wanting to share her news with someone. Each ring felt like 1,000 years. "Hey, sweetheart," Lisa answered. "Hi, Grandma," she shrieked, trying to hide her sarcasm. "Grandma," her mother chuckled. "I would have said you meant to call your grandmother, but neither your adopted one nor your biological are alive. And it's not my birthday, so I know you aren't making an old joke, as you sometimes do." "Wait a minute. Grandma, are you trying to tell me something?" "Yes," shrieked Aalliyah. "You and Nate are having a child?" "Yes." "That is so awesome. Wow, that is huge news. How long have you known?" "About 20 minutes. Lisa laughed. "Why am I not surprised? I bet you and Nate are beyond overjoyed." "I know I am." "But Nate doesn't know yet. He's at Cambridge." "And you didn't call him?" "Oh, goodness, no. This is not a phone call conversation for the father." "All right, fair point. Is James at work?" "Yes. Can you share my news with him when he gets home?" "Honey, I don't think that is even a question. You know I would spill the beans before he even had a foot in the door, even without you telling me to inform him. I want you to know if you have any questions, please ask me. I do not know much about raising a baby, though, as I never got the chance to with you, but I know up until then." Aalliyah took a deep breath and slightly more serious thought. "Is it as weird as the movies make it out to be?" Lisa chuckled. "Sure, I'm not 100% certain on what you mean, but I have a guess. I will tell you it is so magical. Wait until you feel your child move. It is the best feeling in the world. Strange at first, but wonderful. But that won't be for a few months. Other questions?" "It's too new for me to say. I promise I'll bombard you with questions constantly after I've settled into it more. Do you want to know what the best part is?" "Of course." "You remember Nate and I met at the library, right?" "Yes." "Well, our child was conceived there." "Oh dear, do I even dare to ask?" "Relax, it was after hours. I was having a hard day and went there to escape. Nate came to check on me, and then, we took having the space to ourselves to our advantage. I know we weren't careful, but there have been so many times we weren't, but this time proved differently. I didn't think we'd start that chapter yet, but I feel ready to handle this. Anyway, I don't want to keep you from your day. We'll talk more later. Bye!" "Bye, my darling." The hours went by as fast as a snail crosses a road. Aalliyah waited impatiently for her boyfriend. He sent a text around 3 o'clock informing her he wouldn't make it back for dinner because he was on to something in his research, which he'd work on after class. Jeramie and Aalliyah sat side by side on the couch watching a movie of their favorite musical to pass the time. At the conclusion of the movie, Jeramie yawned. "I should probably get to bed," he stated as another yawn escaped him. Aalliyah looked up at the clock and saw it was 9 o'clock, the hour he usually turned in for the night. She nodded. "Good night, Aalliyah." "Good night," she replied. "And good night, little one," he said while rubbing her belly. "I know I have a while to wait, but I cannot wait to meet you." Tenderly, Aalliyah remarked, "You'll make a great father someday." Jeramie sighed and his smile fell. "I'll never be a father." "You don't know that." "Sure I do. I first would need to fall in love with someone. You and I both know who I want to be with. We also know it will never be, especially now." He continued rubbing her belly. "This child will seal your bond with Nate and make it unbreakable. Anyway, I need to get to bed. Please tell me tomorrow how he reacts, unless his excitement squeal wakes me up and I already know," he added with a chuckle. "Good night, Jeramie." 30 minutes later, Nate arrived. He smiled, seeing his girlfriend waiting. "You must be tired if you're already in your pajamas," he remarked. "A bit. It was a long day, but good," she responded. "I'm worn out, too. I guess we shall go to bed earlier than normal." She nodded. Nate began to get ready for bed, and Aalliyah finished the few things she had to. Then the two lied down in bed together. Finally, she stated, "There's something I want to talk to you about. It's nothing bad." "What is it?" "I'm with child." "Please tell me you are joking." "I'm not." "Oh, Feather." "You're not excited?" "I know it's not what you want to hear, but no, I'm not. There could not have been any worse of timing. We literally conceived this child because of the strain I put on you from being so caught up in Cambridge. A child is going to triple the pressure on you. I don't want to be the distant father that gets home late at night and is only there for a moment in the morning. I want to be present. However, I cannot abandon Cambridge. Not to mention, there is no room for a nursery in this house. What are we going to do?" "We'll figure it out together. Please don't let this stress you out. I can handle the pressure it may create." "Yes, you can because you are strong. I can't handle the pressure." "Nate, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. We will face this journey together. Give me a few days to process this better, to think of how I may be able to prioritize this child." "All right. I love you. Love you too." The next day, Nate gladly escaped his reality to Cambridge. However, the troubles from his home followed him there and wouldn't stop clouding his thoughts. Lucy watched him as he stared into space with a solemn expression. "What's bothering you?" she finally asked. Heavily he sighed. "Aalliyah's pregnant." "Oh, shoes. That's really bad." "Yep." "What does that mean for us?" "Nothing is going to change. I don't want to be with her. I love you, Lucy, but I will be the father the child deserves. I thought on it all night. I think when she gets to month 6, I will start putting my focus more on her to help her through that part. It will also then reveal you, and she and I will carefully be able to work something out. Do you think your plan will go as smoothly as you intend? If you suddenly are like, 'Hey, this is Lucy, and I've been cheating on you,' wouldn't you shatter her heart to pieces?" He nodded. "Then she isn't going to be willing to sit and talk things out for a good while." "She will, because a child is caught in the web. I know her well enough to know she'll put the child before herself and her feelings. We'll get through this, Lucy." "I hope so." A month later, Aalliyah was getting ready for bed. She smiled as her eyes fell on the ultrasound pinned to her wall from a few days ago. Today she was extremely tired and fell asleep within minutes. She awoke suddenly in the night, though, not knowing what had awoken her. Curious, she glanced at the clock and saw it was 2:00 a.m. Rain poured outside the window and played a melody. She loved the sound and wondered if that was what stirred her from her sleep. A cramp pinched her abdomen and she groaned as she placed her hand on her belly. She sighed when it subsided. Perhaps that is what awoke her. Aalliyah took a deep breath and relaxed her shoulders, only to tense them up again as she cringed in pain. "Nate," she whispered, but he didn't stir. "Nate," she called louder. She grasped his shoulder and shook him. He groaned and mumbled, "What is it?" "Something's wrong. I'm in a lot of pain and I don't know why. I know Jeramie is not a doctor, but please wake him up and get him. I'm terrified." "All right," mumbled Nate, flicking on a lamp so he wouldn't trip. Barely awake, he went across the living room to his best friend's room. "Jeramie, wake up," he ordered loudly. Jeramie, being a light sleeper, heard him and faintly opened his one eye to look at the glowing digital clock. He remarked, "For goodness sake, Nate, it's 2:00 in the morning. What could you possibly want?" "Aalliyah's in a lot of pain." "Shoes." Jeramie, instantly fearful, leapt from the bed and rushed over to the other bedroom. He turned the lamp on beside Aalliyah and asked her, "What's the matter?" "It's just my belly," she informed. "Tell me more. Is it in knots? Does it hurt? Do you feel sick?" "It feels like a wolf is clawing me, tearing me apart." "Oh, okay, that's a clear analogy. I'm going to lightly press. Tell me if it hurts. First, I need you to take a deep breath and relax." As light as a feather, he set his fingers on her shirt. Aalliyah sighed heavily in discomfort. "I barely touched you. Does it really hurt that badly?" She nodded. He lowered his hands and pressed more firmly. She bit her lip to avoid screaming. Jeramie sighed and knelt down on the floor, taking Aalliyah's hand into his own. Tears streamed down his face, and he closed his eyes. Delicately he kissed her fingers and kept her hand clutched by his mouth. "Jeramie, can you tell me what's wrong?" she sought. However, he had sunken into his own world and didn't hear her words. Quietly he murmured, "Lord, give her strength." Then he kissed her fingers again. Reading him, Aalliyah quivered. Am I going to lose this child? He nodded. He opened his eyes and saw soft tears trailing down her cheeks. I'm sorry. Why is this happening? I don't know. Do you know what to do? Unfortunately, yes. I have never needed the knowledge, and I had hoped I never would. We are going to get through this, the three of us, together. I am not going to leave your side, except for grabbing a few things, and neither is Nate. Jeramie glanced up at his friend and saw him biting his lips in attempts to fight crying. Nate swallowed hard and managed to keep his tears locked up. Jeramie kissed Aalliyah's hand again, and then stood up. A few minutes later he returned. He laid a towel on the bed and had Aalliyah sit up a bit. Then he laid a heating pad across her abdomen to ease her discomfort. Lastly, he set a cup of water on the nightstand. He took Aalliyah's left hand into his and met Nate's eyes. Nate, take her other hand. Nate stared blankly at the two, almost in a state of shock, and couldn't comprehend what was happening. Nate, snapped Jeramie, and his friend shook his head, coming into focus. More gentle, he requested, take her hand. It'll be a long night for all of us. We need each other to make it through. Nate nodded and took his girlfriend's hand as he sat down on the edge of the bed.